results as well between the two teams. These two haven't played each other. At least there's no recorded games of them playing each other, so there's going to be an element of the unknown. Publiclir, of course, are a much more known team in Counter-Strike, I'd say. They've played quite a few games against some of the top teams, and most notably against NIP recently, where they took a map off them. Hellraisers, they lost 2-0. Existence, they drew 1-1. Existence for a team on their day are pretty damn strong, so that's a pretty good result overall. They lost to LDLC White 16-13, so although they are losing to these teams, it's not the most one-sided of games, and they are clearly a team to be reckoned with. I think a lot of people will favour them to be the favourites this evening in this best of 3, whereas Infused have mainly played against UK talent like Xenex, like Easy Skins, FM Esports, where they did pick up a 2-1 win. And as you can see, we're now live on to the knife round. Cash, CT-sided map, the winner of this knife was more than likely going to be electing that for themselves. And the interesting thing as well is that Cash and Dust 2 are the most played maps for both of these teams around the board. The only map that Publiclir have played more is Mirage, probably their home map, and it was banned from Infused. But Cash and Dust 2 are maps that both of these teams are very comfortable on. So it's going to purely come down to the executions and which team's better on the day here. It's not as if this is a weak map for either of them. And additionally, on top of that as well, Cash and Dust 2 for me are very similar maps in the way they work. You've got a mid that needs to be controlled, there's a lot of more alleyways through, the A and B sites are fairly isolated alongside Dust 2, so there's a lot of similarities there. I'm interested to see how that's going to move forward into this game as we are live now into the first round, the pistol round, between Team Infused and Publiclir. Publiclir going to be starting on the CT side, and Team Infused, of course, occupying the T side of things. Red Snake going up into Squeaky, Huz, G Critical, and Aaron all stacking around main A, and Kinder just watching the mid, lurking just in case for any peeks. You can see him here, in mid with that Glock. I think he's just hoping that the CTs over-rotate while the rest of his team push in, but they're getting absolutely shreked off. Dominate, who's picked himself up too. And in quick-fire fashion, Team Infused are down to a 3-on-2. They have pulled back 2 kills, make that a 3rd as well, so it's not all lost after all. I was thinking they were going to crumble very quickly in this round. And with a minute to play with, there's still plenty of time for Infused to rotate if they so choose. The bomb is on A still, but the teammate of Kinder has just been dropped. It was the lurk up in mid. It's all on Red Snake. A lot of experience under his belt, but can he pull this one off? 28 HP to his name. He's about to get spotted on the cross from Or. Doesn't connect the first shot, but does get the headshot on the second time of asking. Picks up his double. Dominate got 2 in that round as well. And a very nice round in the end for Publiclir. But Team Infused, there will be a couple of glimpses for them that they can jump on top of. It was a 5-on-2, they brought it back to a 2-on-2, made that a very close round indeed, so they didn't get completely smashed there. Unfortunately for them, they didn't get a bomb plant as well, so they are going to be forcing up. Typically, if a team gets the bomb plant in the first round, even if they lose, a lot of them will just wait a round and then force up AK-47s with smokes and try and bounce back with a vengeance. This time it's going to be a full Tech 9. I thought it may be a rush onto A, but they are holding things off. They have some smokes that have been thrown over. They're waiting for this smoke to clear out so they can push on through, but you can see the CTs have already got a good idea of what's happening, and now the terrorists are rushing in, but all the CTs are moving into position. There's the P90 as Red Snake answers back with a Tech 9, but already the terrorists are down. Are they going to be out as well? Huzz with a nice return frag, and a second as well. Lovely play by him. I think he got a dink onto Hatchet as well. But again, Red Snake finds himself in a 2v1. And this time he is going to get 1 kill. This would be a huge round, but he pulls out the flash. And Or from Catwalk gets the upper hand and takes it 2-0. But again, that is a pretty nice round from Infused, all things considered. Yes, they lost. Yes, they forced up. But they did a lot of economic damage to Publiclir as well, who are buying up for masses and have an MP7 and have very little money to play with. So if Team Infused can take a couple more weapons off them here, they'll be in pretty good shape to pick up the next round. So, Infused on the Glock train with a couple P250s as well. We'll be rushing into sight, but the bomb's been dropped in no man's land, and that's going to definitely give Publiclir all the advantages they'd want. There we go. Easy peasy round for them. Only lose quicks in the process. And I was saying, you know, if Team Infused can take a couple weapons away from Publiclir, it's going to be pretty solid. They did get 1, so it's not terrible. And again, you can see that quicks isn't going to have the most fantastic of economy. None of them do. They do have full grenades, but again, if they lose a couple weapons here, they're right back up the creek. without a paddle. So Infused are going to be bouncing back. They have AK-47, so here comes a fast push from Publiclir through mid. Popping the vent, that is Zita. So he dominate in a pretty precarious position, but he certainly could make something work from this. He's waiting for that boost and also mid. Zita's going to get the first frag of the round though onto Red Snake, who has been the standout player for Infused thus far, has the top frags on his team. 2 players yet to get on the scoreboard, and they're going to be desperately hoping they can turn that one back around. Publiclir are just holding fast. That's all they have to do is CTs. The emphasis is on the terrorist, but Kinder catches it as he drops down from the vent. And that's going to prove to be costly because there's critical through the mid as well. Dominate, though, wasn't picked out on the tight left underneath the boost. A position that I called out earlier could potentially be a playmaking one. It's like a 50-50 coin flip. If he gets picked off, it's pretty much the mid loss. But if he can get a couple cheeky frags, then they're right back into it. In 30 seconds, they could potentially push on to this B now. It's just who's there. Hatchet is very close. And Hatchet is coming now, and he does get a kill. There's Orr as well. Nice crossfire set down from the CTs. They're looking for Kinder. That's a beautiful headshot. Looking for a second one as well. Hatchet does get the quick peek, but with 10 seconds, he has to rush straight onto that bomb plant and get it down. And he's going to be forced in from Dominate. Does get the bomb planted, but then gets picked off. It's pretty important for Infused to get that bomb plant. They also got 3 frags in the process, and it's going to be 4-0. And I saw some of the betting odds against Infused were like 60 to 70% against them. I think that's about fair overall, but if I was a betting man, I think it would be worth having a cheeky bet on them. You never quite know. They are a team that are definitely capable of pulling off upsets, and that's pretty huge return odds, but so far, so good for the Swedes. Nice shot from Red Snake through mid there, just has a quick peek through the smoke. Looking for a second and lands that as well. That's beautiful control of the AK-47, and just like that, 2 players dead. Zita is going to stand firm though on sandbags and pull himself one back. Needs to be careful. He's been pushed from Red Snake, who's picked up his 3rd kill. This is lovely play from him. There's Orr on B though, picking up a frag of his own, and now Dominate's in a good position to strike. There's the first, looking for the second. Gave his position away slightly too early. And Red Snake gets his 4th. What a round from Red Snake. 8 for 4 on his team. He's top fragging on the entire server. And Infused a 4-1 behind. It just goes to show how dominant he's been thus far. So, with all the economic damage that has been inflicted on Publiclir in the previous rounds that they won, that's going to force Zita onto a CZ with only the flashbang. They only have 1 diffuse kit as well. So if the T's were able to punish through and penetrate the defense and get the bomb plant, there's every chance they could hold on to it. But here comes Zita from behind, completely catches the terrorists off guard. But I think it was Aaron just about turned round at the right time and shut down that back attack. It was very sneaky and very cheeky, but it did get punished all the same. And that's their 1 diffuse kit down and nowhere near the site. That being said though, the terrorists still haven't pushed onto a site. They still haven't done anything with this. And with another entry frag, this could be the moment they start to push in. But the problem is that they haven't really done anything with these 2 kills, and in doing so you allow the counter-terrorists, to get into position and potentially repel the attack. And that's what happens there to Hatchet, who just pushes through mid and gets himself a frag. Red Snake with nice spray control onto Dominate, who probably should have done better from there. They kind of lined up for him. Did do significant damage to 3 players though, and that could allow the other CTs to push themselves in. Nice shot from Hudge as well. And now with 1 player remaining on Publiclir, it's likely that Orr may just want to save this for Mass. He's in a horrible place though to save this. He's definitely caught between a rock and a hard place. Is he can have a quick peek and try and get a couple exit frags. That's the only player I think that's going to be available to him. He's got players jumping to his left and his right. The only thing that's working in his favour is he's got a flashbang and 3 of these players are low. There is one pushing to his left hand side. It's going to be Hudge G. Turns his back and does get put down. The rest of the terrorists are now starting to rotate behind him onto Connector. Does Orr know this one? Here we go. Gets the second frag. Looking for a third. He picks that one up as well. It could be a fourth kill. Not quite. But taking 3 weapons away from Infused there was pretty huge. Yes, they can rebuy because they've got 2 rounds in a row now. And that bomb detonated. But still, that's a lot of money. A lot of funds that have been put back into the kitty from Team Infused. And I just don't think it was worth it at the end there. Pushing 1 by 1. And because of that, because Publiclir realised that Infused economy is not fantastic, they force bought. I feel like if Infused did not lose 3 weapons there at the end, Publiclir would have gone for a full save. Because there would be another $6,000, $7,000 that would have not need to have been spent on Infused. But the force buy is not working. They've lost 3 players. It's soon to be 4. There we go. Aaron seals the deal onto Quicks. And now it's all on Dominate. He does have a deal and a grenade, but I think he just wants to try and get some exit frags and save that, potentially. He's got Kevlar. Even though it's a Deagle, grenade and Kevlar, that's still like $3,000 worth of equipment. That's a lovely 1 Deag. And a second as well, and again Infused from a round that should have been clear-cut and easy, are losing weapons. And I'm not sure why Critical's peeking. He's only got 8 HP, 1 bullet, and he's a dead man, but he still gets the frag. But again, you can see the damage that's done to Team Infused. They win 3 back-to-back rounds, but HudsG... Is he just on... No, he's got an AK, there we go. I was going to say, does he just have a Glock? No. But he is very low on money, as are the rest of his team. So it's important for Infused here to get a couple rounds together. This is an eco round. It's P250s across the board. This is Infused chance to equal it back up again at 4-4. And it looks to be exactly what they're doing. Dominate and Hatchet, all that remain. Dominate is pushing around from the backside, so they do need to be a bit careful about this here. He's looking for the frag onto HudsG, and he does connect it as well. He's going to run on to get that AK-47. Here comes Critical to get him on the cross, and he does connect the shot. And now it's all on Hatchet, who is peeking around from CT spawn with that P250. Nice shot from Hatchet onto Red Snake. That's going to be another AK-47 unless he gets picked off on the cross. But that's 2 frags to an already economically weakened Infused. That's going to force them on another rebuy. And the problem here from Infused is even though they're getting rounds, Publiclir have been pretty much force buy / eco the last 2 to 3 rounds. They haven't had a fantastic economy themselves. So now that Publiclir will be able to buy up, this is the moment where we could start to see the terrorists slip a tiny bit. That being said though, 4 rounds on T side already is not too bad from Infused, and it's much better than it was looking when it was 4-0. I was thinking maybe the Swedes were just going to pull away with this and just smash this half. But as I said, Infused, this is one of their go-to maps, this and Dust 2, which are the first 2 maps of this best of 3. So they have every chance at pulling this one off. This is a big round though. If Infused were to lose this, they're going to be in force buy / eco territory. Publiclir, if they lose this, well, the round loss bonus is kicking in, so they need to get some momentum on the board. That's the most important thing. The T's really just using every second at their disposal here. Going to be going up for the boost. HudsG and Critical are both up there. Yeah, guys, if you're having issues with your stream, just go ahead and refresh it. That should fix any of the problems that you may have. But while I'm speaking, it's all gone the CT's way. That's 4 frags, uncontested. Kinder's the last player. The bomb's been dropped in a horrific position for him. And as he tries to push in, he gets sprayed down. And Publiclir pick up the round. So it's going to be, as I said, force buy / eco territory. For Team Infused. They've got 2 Tech 9s. It's not fantastic. They're going to go for full Tech 9s, actually. This allows them to buy and potentially drop going through to the next round. So I can kind of understand this tactic from Infused. A part of me wishes that maybe they'd just gone for a full save. And potentially pick up an AWP if that's what they'd want to. But here comes Critical. It doesn't seem to matter because they get the first kill anyway. The problem is that they're getting bottlenecked down. And here comes the spray from Quicks. He gets 2, looking for a 3rd as well. HudsG meanwhile pushing through onto Quad. Gets a frag onto Quicks, who was completely caught out of position with his pants down. I think he had a flashbang in his hands. And now it's a 3-on-3, and Infused have every chance at planting this bomb. The issue is, though, that because they've telegraphed this and they haven't really penetrated the bomb to get that bomb plant, they're still getting picked off from the CTs. It was important for them to get that plant down quickly and then force Publiclir to come in with the retake. And the issue with that force buy, as I called before, is if they eco that round, they're going to have a potential to have like every person with pretty big weaponry and grenades. But because they went for that force buy, and now they're force buying in this one, they've got 2 Tech 9s and very few grenades across the board. It leaves them in quite a vulnerable position for Team Infused. So it's sometimes being greedy and looking for a round from there and trying to force Publiclir back onto eco and screw their money up again. While I understand it, sometimes it's best to just play the patient game and play to your strengths. If they can pick up this round though, of course, it's not going to make any difference, and right now, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Dominate and Red Snake have both been dropped. Publiclir looking to just hold fast, or is in a position where we saw Dominate earlier, and I do wonder if that's going to become a bit too telegraphed and a bit too obvious and predictable for Infused. You know, shame on me if I fall for it more than once. And Kinder now pushing through. Is he going to check it, or does switch across to the other side of mid? And if Kinder does now check that position, he'll get shot down in the back. Meanwhile, Zita is in a good place with the AK-47, spots the first player, critical, gets it. Here comes the inevitable push afterwards, but Aaron gets the entry on Quicks, who was on quad, and the second kill as well. That was the most important kill of this round, potentially. Or now on the cross, nearly gets himself picked off, but the bombers is being planted from Infused. And with that comes a difficult retake from the CTs, but they have started well with a frag onto Kinder. Now Aaron, who's already picked up 3 this round, could potentially be on for a 1v2 clutch and the ace. We've already seen Red Snake pull off some miraculous plays, but, well, Aaron's not going to be able to follow in those footsteps, and he gets dropped. So 7-4 is the scoreline, and remember that the economy already wasn't fantastic for Infused, and with that force buy and loss, you can see there 4 players on 3.2k, and they're going for another force buy. I understand it. They're getting into round loss territory bonus. I can understand it. The issue is, though, that they're not going to have fantastic weaponry in the next round. If they're wanting an AWP, maybe that wouldn't be affordable for them. But here comes the push. Maybe they can force this one down. Look at Hatchet. He just stands there tall. And with Quicks, they just lock this down. Are they going to lose any players? They lose one, but there's Zita from upper. And quickly turns into 8-4. So you can see they're going to be able to afford AK-47s. They're going to be without an AWP, though. They do have plenty of grenades at their disposal as well. So it's important for Infused that they start picking up some rounds here, because even though it's 4-4 and looking pretty good for them, if they still end up losing this half 11-4, I don't think they'll be particularly happy with that one. They're looking for 5 or 6 rounds. But let's see if they're going to reach that goal set in mind. I think Orr switched his weapon there as Huds G came over the boxes. That was such unfortunate timing, and in doing so he's died, and he's left mid very vulnerable, and mid is such a huge integral part of Cash. You lose mid, 3 more avenues become available, I should say, for the terrorists. Vents, highway, and of course connector, and you can see them exploiting that right now. And that forces the CTs to watch a bunch more positions. It forces them to spread out even more because they've lost a player. It's a pretty good start for the T's, but the problem is that you peek onto Quicks and he picks up the frag. And the other issue as well is if you do get mid, you can't just like tunnel vision through. You have to be pushing other areas, because then the CTs can just encircle round mid and just all watch it and get crossfire set down. So it's important not to play one-dimensional. Meanwhile, the T's have pushed through vents, but Dominate gets the kill. He gets 2 kills from the corner. That is unbelievable from Infused. They really should have checked that spot, and it went from a round that was really in the favour of Infused to suddenly looking like Publiclir have this in the bag. Quicks is very low, and Zita isn't in a position that maybe he'd like to be now that he's been flashed. Probably should have picked up that frag, but still Aaron is in no man's land, and he's about to become a dead man. With 8 seconds, he has to play this aggressively. He can't play slow, and there is Quicks to seal the deal onto him. So 9-4. Team Infused with the round loss bonus are able to buy up again, but you can see their economy and the grenades are far from ideal. Just a decoy onto Hud's G. Smokes on everybody else. They can pull off a set play. I'd expect to see them try and run with an A set play here. It's something we haven't seen a great deal from them. Typically they've only gone A on like fast eco force buy, tech 9 buy kind of rounds. And that seems to be what's happening. They're throwing down the set play on towards A. A couple of those smokes didn't land perfectly, and that could prove to come back to haunt them. There's no smoke on Squeaky, and that is going to be the end of Hud's G's life. And you can see here that Quicks, because of the smokes not landing perfectly, is still in a great position, and they just line up Infused and barrel them down. It's all on Kinder. He gets pushed from behind. And that goes from a 4-4 to a 10-4 very, very quickly indeed. And on the final round of the half, Infused are going to be forced to go with AKs and potentially Galils. And again, not many grenades to play with. Tech 9 for Red Snake. Therein lies the issue. With a couple smokes not connecting and not having that cohesion in play, they needed to get a smoke to block off the spray through onto Squeaky as well. Look at this. A player from the CTs hiding in the corner. It's Quicks. And he picks himself up too. It's actually my mistake. Quicks was back at highway box. And now Kinder and Aaron both have Galils. Only the one smoke between them in a 4v2. Not long for this world, you have to feel. Or gets himself to kill onto Kinder. And now it's all on Aaron, who is on A. The only reason he's on A though is that bomb was dropped mid. And the CTs have swarmed around it like a set of vultures. That's going to be 11-4. And Team Infused will be bitterly disappointed from that, I'm expecting, because they were 4-4 at one point. They were eyeing up, 6 or 7 rounds. And a couple of force buys, I feel, was the determining factor there. Force buying at the wrong time. I don't want to harp on that too much, but that really is the thing that jumps out to me. Force buying when they didn't need to, when they could have been patient, saved up a tiny bit longer, got the economy rolling, ran with a few more grenades, ran with maybe an AWP or two, because I think they only used an AWP like 1 round. But regardless, let's have a look at the scoreboard. Red Snake, 14 for 13. Top fragging by a country mile on Infused. Only player with more kills than deaths. Whereas, on Publiclir, 3 players on 15. Or's on 13, and Hatchet is on 9. Everybody's pulling their weight. Peanut Butter, 66. The maps are Cache, Dust 2, and Inferno, if we need it. Somebody asked me as well who picked Dust 2 and who picked Cache. Publiclir was Cache's choice of map. Dust 2 was from Infused, and then obviously the Decider is the Decider. I believe we started the second half, but Or is still back at spawn. Not entirely sure why, but he has now rejoined the fight. And here we go, live into the second half. Paramount importance that Infused pick up this round. This pistol's massive. If they lose this, they're looking at sort of 14-4 scoreline maybe. And Dominate gets the entry onto B. And that's going to allow them to force the bomb in. Here comes the bomb in the hands of Hadjid. Another frag from Quicks onto Upper. Pretty huge. But can Critical do anything from this position? He's tapping, but it's not enough. Now Aaron, you had a couple glimpses of brilliance, is looking to pull this team back into this round. He's got all 3 kills thus far on his team. Is on for the ace. Here comes the push. Just a couple more headshots will do it, but it's Quicks who's faster on the trigger, picks up his 3rd. And Publiclir seal that pistol round, which could very well be one of the final nails in the coffin for Cache here for Infused. They'll likely force buy this, as they will with 5.7s. It's a very, very strong pistol, I would say. And they do have a scout as well, but this is last chance saloon, I would have to feel, for them. They lose this, they're back on eco, or back in a force buy. So as I said before, lose a pistol round, you're staring 13-4, 14-4 territory down the barrel of the gun. But here comes Publiclir. Through mid, Mac 10 going to work. Scout does reign supreme onto Or. So that's a nice pick up there. The weapon has dropped in a position where they can't really afford to go and try and take that. You can see Critical looking for the weapon there and just realised, oh Jesus, I can't even shoot it back into my player's hands. Aaron with a really nice dink. And you know, they're doing good work with this Force Spy. Infused, they're holding on fast. They're refusing to go down without a fight. Hudgy staying on B, just in case the A push is a fake. But here comes some more kills on the side of the CTs. They find themselves a player to the good. Quicks on 25 HP and Hatchet on 100. This is still going to be tough for the CTs to lock off, but Critical with a beautiful scout through the box, looking for the last kill, and he takes it down as well. 4 kills to Critical with the scout. And I was saying, this is last chance saloon, and they grasped that opportunity with both hands. Team Infused now, fours Publiclir onto a Force Spy. And that round could very well turn out being 2 to 3 rounds for Infused, because if Publiclir lose this, chances are they're on eco. So, here we go. Publiclir going to be pushing in. That grenade is going to do significant damage. Look at that. 64 for Dominate, 75 for Zitta. But they still get the opening pick anyway. And the terrorists are just forcing in with all 5 players. The CTs need to rotate super fast. There's Red Snake to come to the aid of his team, but Dominate catches Critical as he's switching weapons, and he gets picked off. It's a 3-on-3 now. That bomb still hasn't been planted. It's been dropped in a horrible place as well. Minute and 5 to go. Quicks, what can you do from this position? Are we going to see some heroics? Hudgy's only on 8 HP. The problem is that Quicks has no utility at all. No grenades for him to use. No smoke to screen his way in. No flashes, no grenades, nothing. So he's going to be going for raw aim. And he gets headshotted from Red Snake. Just gets executed. Red Snake moves to 16 for 15. Aaron's really starting to step his game up because he's Critical now. 11 for 15. Infused appear to be waking up. But it's the easier side, CT. And Infused, I would say, are more comfortable on the CT side of most maps as well. You do get some teams that are generally just better on Ts. I feel Infused are very strong on CT side. So this could be a moment where we start to see some life back from the UK-based squad. And as I mentioned, it will be an eco for Publiclir, so this should be another round. I say should because crazy things happen in Counter-Strike, and pistols are oh so strong, but Critical gets a double as they line up for him, and a third as well, and a fourth. No, Aaron steals that one away. I got carried away there. And Aaron steals the full house of frags. 3 for Critical, 2 for Aaron. But it is a buy-up again from Publiclir. Albeit not a fantastic one, but they do have 3 smokes on the board. And that could be more than enough. Again, typically if you see this many smokes, I'm half expecting to see a set play come in, but it seems to be a split and pick approach from Publiclir. 2 players to B, 2 players towards boost, which has been Molotov'd out, so that's going to stop them boosting just for the next 5 or so seconds. The CTs, with that Molotov, have got a lot of real estate themselves. I really like that play. It didn't quite work out as planned because Quicks gets the upper hand on 2 players, and that brings it back to a 3-on-3. The idea is you throw a Molotov in, and you position it in a place where you can still boost up, so you get that anti-boost spot, because the terrorists can't jump up or they're going to lose so much damage. And I think it was Red Snake that boosted up and then punished 2 players. Really, really like that play. The issue is, didn't quite pay off for them because Quicks is now pushed through mid and gets a 3rd frag. Huge entries from him, and now he's coming round the back, and that man Hudgy must be feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders because he has to pull off something huge. There's the first one, nearly gets the second. Does make the terrorists work for it, but Publiclir should have this 13th round in the bag. Aaron has been on a tear recently, so I'm not going to count him out. He does have a grenade and a flash, but I feel like he'd want a Molotov in this situation. Nice frag though. Dominate goes walkies and he gets punished. He's going to walk into a grenade. Doesn't do as much damage as I was expecting and returns the favour, and that one lands onto all. Flash as well. Here he pushes in. Still enough time and a defused kit. This is looking good for Aaron, and he gets the kill as well and gives the Infused the 8th. Beautiful play from Aaron, who's been really impressive, I've got to say, on the CT side. Gets the defuse. 12 to 8 the scoreline. And as good as Quick's entry frags were there, I believe he got 3. Aaron was up to the task, and you can see now the economy of Team Infused is going from strength to strength. Interestingly enough, Critical goes for an AUG. I've heard a lot of players talking about the AUG being quite powerful now that it's not that much more expensive than the M4S. I'm not sure if Critical necessarily meant to buy that, or if maybe it was a finger slip, but regardless, it's nothing to turn your nose up at. The org can still do work. So, Publiclir back onto a force buy because they have lost the last 4 in a row, so round losses in their favour. But again, it's not the best of buys. They don't have themselves an AWP, they didn't have themselves too many smokes, and there's HudsG from Vent, a position that is becoming more and more played on cash, and one that you really have to watch out for. Boosting into Vent can catch terrorists off guard. It gives you an extra avenue of defending mid as well. And HudsG gets the kill and just backs on away, and there's no point for him to stay there. But look at this, no one's watching mid from the CTs. So Orr just walks through mid and takes down Aaron on quad, and to me that suggests a distinct lack of communication on the side of the UK. And now that they've gone ahead and lost mid, they're losing players left, right and centre, and it goes from a round where Team Infused were looking poised with that first entry kill, or defense kill I should say, from HudsG, to being 3-1 behind on manpower. And the fact that they just walked through mid and picked off the player on quad without him even realising, which I believe was Aaron, that's bad signs for Infused. You need to have that mid plugged up. And if you don't, the rest of the team should react accordingly, not still be looking at main. HudsG on 17 HP now. He's not going to bother. Understandable decision. He's got an M4, he's got grenades, and he's got a defuse kit with Kevlar. No point to throw this away. Chances of him clutching are quite small. And that will gift Publiclir their 13th round. And Infused, really, they have to sort out mid. It's all well and good HudsG getting an entry frag, or the first frag. I need to stop calling it entry on CT side. I mean, it's an entry, I guess, if you're retaking, but not if you're just playing defensively. But they did get the frag from Vent, and then from there on in, it was just one-way traffic to the Swedes. So they really do need to be careful about that. Otherwise, this could very well end up slipping away from them. Critical gets himself the AWP. It is a glass cannon AWP, all the same, but it's not going to matter if he can utilise the long range to devastatingly strong effect. This is a quick boost though from the terrorists, and again they are just occupying mid. 2 players from CT moving in. Red Snake waiting in connector as well. Going to be flashing through and then having a quick peek. Although he's going to peek right into the crosshairs of Orr, who turns around at the last second but still gets the kill. I thought he'd thrown his opportunity away. And this time, Critical is not falling for the mid bait. He's going to be peering down from quad towards mid, making sure no terrorists can push through. The question though, on my mind, is has the damage already been done? Because with that entry, already the terrorists are quickly rotating. This is something that Infused lacked, by the way, and that was quick calls. They would get the pick, and then they would just kind of wait around for 10-15 seconds, and inaction proved to be their downfall. They weren't ruthless, and in doing so they lost a lot of rounds that potentially should have won. Publiclir there go right for the jugular. They get the entries, force down B, get the bomb plant, and it will be the 14th round as well. But it looks like Critical is going to make the terrorists pay there as they look for the weapons. And Publiclir need to make sure they don't fall into the same pitfalls that Infused did when on T side they went hunting and lost 3 or 4 weapons for nothing. It looks like they have learned from that mistake. So they take the 14th round. And we now move into the 23rd at 14-8 scoreline. Infused aren't going to be force buying. They still have that open play. They still have an M4 in play as well, so it's the correct decision as far as I'm concerned. With the 5-7, this is definitely doable. If they're to lose this, though, going into, well, saving map points, they're going to be looking at sort of 5-7 for mass force buy, which is far from ideal. So this is a huge round again. Last time I said it was last chance saloon, they won it. And this time they seem to be going in the same vein of form, because there's Red Snake from mid, hiding in the smoke, gets the FAMAS spray down. Beautiful from him. He's been tagged down to 31, but they'll be very happy with that trade-off. HudsG spraying through the wall, does some damage to Dominate, who is flashed up. That's really good control on Checkered from CTs. And this is more like it from Infused. This is a much better defense from them. Much, much better. Pick up the 23rd round without losing a single player. That's going to do their economy the world of good. They're not going to have to worry about the aforementioned force buys with 5-7s and FAMASs. And they did pick up a couple of AKs to replenish the weak weapons, the FAMAS and the 5-7, I believe it was. So across the board, fantastic round for them. And this is good from Publiclir. I like this play, and this is what Team Infused fell into before. They had enough to potentially force buy with some Galils and AK-47s, but they say no. We don't need to do this right now. We can just save up. We can come back stronger than ever in the 25th round. We don't need to force. We can play patient. We can play the long game. And we saw Infused force up, I think, 4 rounds in a row with Tech 9 half buys. And they ended up losing all those rounds. So I like this from Publiclir. Yes, they're going to lose this round probably handedly. But it wasn't about this round. This is almost a throwaway round for them. If we can get around, awesome. The chances are that we're not going to, though. We're playing for the 25th instead. So Hadjit is, well, he's caught between a couple of players. He gets taken down, and there we go. 14 to 10. But Publiclir will be able to buy up here. Aaron Vakban. I'm not so sure about that. He is a sick player, though. A sick player. And he's starting to wake up in this game, and I like that. I'm happy that we're seeing some of these British players, some of these UK players stepping up. I believe that Kinder's like Belgian or something like that. I don't think that he's from the UK, but the rest of the team is. Of course, Kinder coming in for, I believe, TSAC. Here we go, though. The CTs have got 2 picks of their own. Make that 3, make that 4 from Critical. Oh my goodness, this guy is just exploded. He's already on for the ace. It's all on Quicks. He gets the first frag, but gets shut down from Kinder. Unreal. And that was a buy-up round as well from Publiclir. It's not like they just ran in with trashy Tech 9s or, you know, P250 upgrades. Those guys were going in with weapons. That's going to get them back on Tech 9s again. And that was huge from Team Infused. Wrecked. New Kenny S. I'm sure Critical wouldn't mind that praise. Those are pretty big, bold words. But the guy, whenever he has the AWP in his hand, he believes anything's possible. He was very quiet without the AWP, I will say. But with the AWP, he turns into a different animal altogether. Now Publiclir, with the push, onto A, are taking heavy casualties. They've lost 2 players, one from the Molotov, one from the AK-47. There is Quicks, though, with a return frag, looking for a second. Zitter pushing through Squeaky, as his team is doing work, but it's down to a 3-on-2. Make it a 2-on-2. The bomb's in a pretty open position, though. It's the only downside, and Quicks is low, and they have no grenades, no utility at their disposal, whereas Team Infused have it in spades. Here comes the Molotov, forcing Zitter back. He's not going to be able to plant just yet, and that could prove to be crucial, because he gets picked off on the cross. And Quicks not really helping his teammate out there. It wasn't fantastic cover whatsoever. He's playing the scared game. He's on 13 HP and he's just been shut down to make this 14-12. And a lot of people, myself included, thought this map was slipping away from Infused, but that's 4 on the bounce. In the last 8 rounds they've won, sorry, in the last 10 rounds they've won 8. And the Terrorists only 2, and both of them were from bomb explosions, so they weren't necessarily the most one-sided rounds either. So, as expected, Infused doing a whole lot better on their CT side, and players who didn't really step up for that first half are suddenly coming out of the woodwork. And Publiclir, all the pressure's on them. They've got a Galil in play. It's not a fantastic bite, but they are weapons nonetheless. Or with a lovely, lovely headshot there. I think he flicked onto Aaron. He realised with the smoke that the chances are that someone would be in there on the boost, and he got the frag, and that could be huge. Pushing through mid. Hatchet does get traded out. Kinder falls down, but then Red Snake returns the favour. Publiclir, even though they're a player up, have 2 players very low indeed. 18 on Or, 24 on to Dominate. And meanwhile, the CT's looking pretty healthy. But they just lost another player. Hudge returns fire. There's lots of players surrounding him. And Dominate with the shot onto him, and now it's all on Critical. We saw him pull off a ridiculous 4-man just a couple rounds ago. Can he clutch? That grenade was eerily close to picking up a frag onto Or, I believe it was, back at quad now. But with a player up in catwalk, is Critical gonna guess? No, he doesn't. The problem is there in a 1v3, there is so many positions to guess. Could be quad, could be catwalk, could be main, could be Squeaky, could be behind the red container. Then you're gonna have half a mind. Is someone being really cheeky? Are they just going to hide up on the highway? And the issue is you get caught in so many mines that you end up doing nothing and getting shut down. So Team Infused, because they've won the last 4 rounds before that one back-to-back, they're able to buy up again with an AWP and M4s and a FAMAS. It's a pretty strong buy, but they have to win 3 rounds in a row just to take it to overtime. And that missed shot from Critical is going to be so important in this round. If he connects that, main falls, he can pull back, job's done. But because he's maybe called that one a bit too many times, and because I believe it was Aaron got caught in main before, Publiclir know this. They read the score sheet, they read the playbook, they know what to expect. And with that first kill, they're going to convert it into 2 more. The bomb's been planted, and Team Infused are circling the drain here. Publiclir should have this round. They should have cash as well. The GGs are being called, and Publiclir do finish their map 16-12 on cash. And we'll be going through to Infused choice of Dust 2 in just a few moments. So we're going to cut it to a quick commercial break, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We still have plenty more Counter-Strike here this evening, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Leave me. I love you. I hate you. I love you.
I hate you.
I love you. Hate you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Hate you. Love you. Hate you. Love you. Hate. 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 Love you. If you leave, I will. Better yet, I will kill you. Kill you. Kill you.